Hey guys, welcome back to Chaos Zero Nightmare. In today's video, we're doing another podcast episode. I missed it last week. We are back this week. Massive shout out to I'm Sue on the top and Cosmic Plays Gotcha in the middle. Big shout out to you boys because once again, my unorganized ass hit you guys up an hour before we're recording this because I forgot and yeah, I'm shit. But that's pretty much it. We're gonna be talking about CHIZURU and also I fucked up last time. I put the wrong link to the wrong channel for Cosmic, so we got his proper link in the description as well. Sue will be down there.
Thank you.
These boys were on the first podcast as well. I will be doing more of these with more people as well. But for those that haven't met you guys, Sue, we'll start with you. Give us a quick rundown.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Sue. I am a content creator that specializes in super creative games, so Epic 7, and then, of course, now Chaos Zero Nightmare. And previously, I've been a competitive card game player for like 20 years. I've done everything from competing to designing, consulting, testing, pretty much everything.
Perfect. And Cosmic?
Yep. And I'm Cosmic of Cosmic Plays. I am a TCG content creator for about 11 years, and I do a lot of casting for Bandai for the Gundam and the New Arena card games, and just, dived in with Chaos Zero Nightmare and been having a blast with it. So I come from just a much heavier card game style of background, again, similar to Sue, and yeah, just been having a blast with the game, even still, a month in or 5 weeks in now, whatever it's been.
Yep, definitely. Definitely go show these guys some love. They're both making great content, great guides and stuff like that. Cosmic, I've even seen a couple of your visual guides as well, which are fantastic as well. But the topic of today's podcast, and also let me know anyone else you guys want me to connect with in the comments. Like I said, I'm unorganized and I knew these boys would be good for a chat straight away, so I hit them up this week. But CHIZURU, how's our general feels about CHIZURU? One, in terms of playstyle, and two, in terms of strength.
I guess I'll start. In terms of playstyle, she's very akin, I feel like, to Rin. She's a little bit less selfish. She kind of works a little bit with, like, where Rin wants to be the focal point and only the focal point. CHIZURU allows you to kind of mix and match other damage dealers. Kind of, I've been having some success with like Yuki thrown in there, Tressa, things like that. You kind of have the ability to throw in an off DPS, but she still kind of wants to be the focal point. I think she's very, very fun, and I do think she is strong. The problem is that her time to set up it's a lot longer than a character like Mei Lin or Tressa. So, like, while I do think she is good, she's not like the tippy top of the iceberg when it comes to power level.
Yep. Yeah. And it's kind of like, I've seen some crazy highlights of a build that I'm trying to get. And it's the one where you essentially use the version of this one, which gives you the extra 2 hits, and then you stack it up over time. And it kind of feels like you see some massive highlights of her hitting like, 50 times with it. The problem is it takes you 10 turns instead of 1 to get there compared to Mei Lin. And that's like the damage cap. But I still think she's incredibly fun. You mentioned using her with Yuki. That is actually my current favorite team to run her through the chaos in. Because with her and Yuki, and I've been doing those two with Ray, I just find it really comfortable, really easy. And it's so clean because you just get hard hitting AoEs. And then you get hard hitting single targets, and it's sort of good for chaos because it's a bit brain dead in that you just hit hard no matter what you're trying to hit, and you don't have to rely entirely on getting epiphanies. Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely a solid one that I've been enjoying. But what about you, Cosmic? Where are you at with her?
Yeah, from a playstyle, this is probably my favorite rate up so far, just because I feel like with her 3 very different playstyles that you want to lean into, you actually have a lot more variety with her than we had with like Haru and then Yuki, where, if for the free-to-play players who got both Ray and Beryl, Ray is obviously really great because it just boosts up anything that she wants to be doing. And then if you are really desperate for characters, Beryl actually has, I think it's the opening fire card, has a triple hit on it, which is really good for stacking up the Will-O-Wisp. So it does feed directly into what CHIZURU wants to be doing, as well as has a buff card for CHIZURU as well. So is that by any means optimal? No, but in terms of when we think about the overall team compositions that we have access to, which is then further helped by the different epiphanies that she has, she just feels like a more complete character that rewards you for being able to have a much wider roster and brewing all these different teams. Like, so funny enough, on this conversation, like the build that I am currently working on is actually going to be using Hugo, because I've been running this problem with Veronica where it's like, yes, you draw 2 of other combatants, but I just want to purely draw cards, right? And Hugo actually has a perfect, if I'm going to be honest, Epiphany in his quick fix that is just a flat draw 2. And it's also a 1 cost, which means because of Chizuru's Epiphany, that's going to reduce the cost. You now are able to build a deck with Hugo that is just 4 copies of this, draw your entire deck every turn, and then cycle into the skill card with Chizuru, which, by the way, stacks up for her OTK, which just give you even more copies of Hunt's Command. So it's just this like hyper synergistic, hyper draw team that, you know, I wasn't even thinking about Hugo at all. To be perfectly honest, I was just like going through characters, like who else could I use? So yeah, this is the one that I'm currently working on because, God, it's going to be strong to loop through the deck just every single turn and get the stack. So yeah, it's been fun.
As a avid Hugo enjoyer, I've been working on getting a draw Hugo, and I still haven't got like a perfect one along the way. I was trying to find one. I had a decent one at some point, but yeah, trying to get him with the dupes on the draw too, it's bloody rough. And but yeah, I definitely love it. As the Hugo guy, yeah, I'm all about getting those Hugo combos going as well. And I think with Hugo, like you also, unfortunately, like if the follow-up attacks would give you flames, it would be absolutely insane. Unfortunately, they don't, but it's still it's still really nice supplementary damage on full single target targeting. But the one thing I wanted to highlight was what you said, because you highlighted that she's like got 3 types of builds. That's the thing I am liking about her way more than like Yuki, is it feels like there is 3 massively different ways to play her. And with my save data, I built one of the ways. Unfortunately, dude, I was venting to these guys beforehand. That stupid bloody occurrence that they put in the game that they highlighted in the live stream, where it's like you get one of 2 blessings, where it's like you get 2 ambushes in hand, or you draw 1 less, but you draw an extra attack card. That thing, I swear nothing triggers me more in the game at the moment than that bloody occurrence. Whoever invented that should get a different position at the company, because there is no way that is a good idea every time. Like this run here, this specific run where I had the Tsukiyomi and I just wanted to get the 3 Will-O-Wisps. Hell, even if this got the other one, which was the middle one, which is another build, like either one would have been fine. But because I had the 4 hitters on the Oni hunts, I wanted to get the +3 Will-O-Wisps, and I could not get this thing for the life of me to get an Epiphany, even though I was removing all the other cards that could get Epiphanies from the other characters. I ended up grabbing the Confiscation, and the extra Confiscation is because it was a dupe at the end. But like, I hit that occurrence and I lost my shit. I couldn't deal with it.
Vulcan, I am convinced, because I told you guys the other day, I am convinced that if you put Ecstasy of Violence in your deck at any point, the RNG is just effed for the whole run.
Yeah.
Like I like the second Ecstasy, it's like the devs know, all right, well, you're just getting bad RNG for the rest of the run. I've been actively daily trying to grind good Ecstasy decks. I always get screwed over by something on RNG. Like always. If it shows up, it's go on.
I was gonna say, people always give me a hard time because I skip tunnel. I'm like, you don't understand. I've been burned so many times on runs going through tunnel that I literally avoid it now, unless I know for a fact I want a forbidden guard on my character. I will skip that every time.
Yeah, like, because this run was going so perfect, because I even got this bad boy with the extra draw, the extra AP. I got the Ecstasy. Like, it was lining up. I got the Confiscation super early on the shop before the first boss, because I knew I was going to get the Ecstasy. I was like, dude, this is Giga. And literally, even without Epiphanies on Confiscation, it would have been fine with the Tsukiyomis, but I just couldn't get it. It was so close to a build that I wanted. But after that little vent, back to the point I was talking about, is you've got like the different builds, which is like, you know, obviously the add 2 hit, which is like that big finisher combo where you get 50, 60, 70 hits, depending on how long you go and how many of the copies of it you have. But you also have this one here, 3 Will-O-Wisp for the hit. Like, you can stack this super damn fast when you pair that with like the 4 hitter of Oni or the 4 hitter of Ecstasy. Really nice, like, sort of, this one's more around building up those the big shadows of the moon and just getting them stacked as fast as possible and then slapping them out. Then you've got the other one, which is obviously, we mentioned the stacking one, which is like the one where you're going to get the big highlights from. But the thing I loved was, you mentioned the third one, and I'm assuming you're talking about this one here, where you can kind of
attack spam.
Yeah, you play her a little bit like Mei Lin, which is like, I love that 3 completely different play styles that you can get out of the same character. Now, they're all obviously going to be single target focused, but it's really cool to have, no matter which Epiphany you get first.
About this other one.
What's the other
So
one?
the thing is, the thing that I was thinking about, right? So like Bound at Dusk is a powerful cost reduction ability.
Oh, don't
And
bring up the
I
two
think a
costs.
lot. I
will
think yeah, no. I'm just saying in general, something that people in my Discord we talk about is like, why is like it's a psionic character. You can put like rally and draw effects on this character, and she does have lifesteal. You could effectively, if you wanted to, just like it might not be the best use of the character, but I'm very interested to explore the idea of playing her as a support more so than playing her as a damage dealer, right? Just the cost reduction on this, plus the fact that she can hold generics and still put out damage, like, and not be the focal point of the team, makes me think that her long-term potential might be something. Depending on what neutrals they add later on, she's in the right class to be able to have the support cards if you want them. I'm not saying it's the best use right now, but because the door is open, I am naturally, as like, a card game player, interested to explore that space.
Yeah, I've also seen some people removing this card.
Yeah,
as the idea, so that
AP generation.
Yeah, people that want the AP, but especially if you get this epiphany, it feels like you've essentially got 5 AP per turn. So yes. I honestly think like this one, this is probably the one card where it's like if you don't get this, it feels kind of bad. Have you guys found success with any of the others?
I like the activate 2 random lead cards, but that's just because I play a lot of Magna. And Magna has so many lead cards and they all cost like 2. So having that plus like Pyramid means sometimes I just start my turn and I get like 6 AP worth of value. And I'm like, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But I think that requires specific teammates. But like, yeah, usually I'm desperate for option number 1, which is the 2 random cards get 1 reduced cost.
Yeah. And this,
I don't think
this is worded so bad.
It. Oh, sorry, I was going to say about the card. I don't know that Sue did it intentionally, but he kind of activated my trap card on that one because I was openly extremely salty because I think it was like top 10 or top 20, like super high up. There's a CHIZURU. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. This is so awesome. And if you looked at the CHIZURU, it's every single card removed except for Bound at Dusk. And it also had the Sphere of Randomness on it. So it was just purely a support card for the upgrade and then removing everything else. And I'm like, sure, man, that's a playstyle choice, I guess, but it works. It works. Sure.
Okay, so they took it to the like the extreme of what I was talking about, because that is what I was saying. I was like, you could definitely just play her as cost reduction and just be like, yeah, she's got 4 rallies. It's just like 4 rallies and a Bound at Dusk. I just think that'd be a funny thing to try to do.
And
that's actually kind of nuts. And that's what I found when you talked about the sustain side of things. That's what I noticed with this type of build here, where you're getting a really big stack of Shadow of the Moon every time. You're normally getting Shadow of the Moon plus every turn. It does actually give you a little bit of sustain to maintain your run through with it. And obviously with Ecstasy as well, there's kind of like 2 options for that as well. So it's pretty fun. Like I said, I think she's a really fun character. She doesn't feel weak, but she doesn't. I feel like she's never hitting those ceilings of like the Mei-Lins. Do you guys want to talk a bit more about the power aspect? Like I said, I think she's definitely a great character to have fun with, because once again, I'm only on to trying to build my second build. This one's good enough for this style of build. I'm not going to chase that again. It took too much out of me, but I've still got the 2 other builds I want to get on her and have fun with. But I think she's definitely a great fun character for that purpose. But let's talk about the strength value now. Full disclosure for me personally, I have not unlocked the new boss yet because I haven't even done the story because I've been too busy just grinding chaos. That's where I'm at. So I can't show it on screen. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about power levels.
I guess I'll start. So like we talked about it already a little bit, but it's basically pretty obvious if you've been, it's the elephant in the room. Everyone's kind of been talking about like the power floor is basically Mei-Lin. Like it's simple, it's consistent, it does a lot of damage, right? And very few things can compete with it, and it works everywhere. And then like the power ceiling is Tressa with Cassius, which just allows you to just do borderline infinite damage. Right. And these 2 things just, I feel like, overshadow almost all the other damage dealers in the game. So it's very hard to look at a damage dealer, which is usually the first thing that gets replaced or power crept in a gacha game, and be like, should I pull for this when it's not one of these 2 extremes I talked about? CHIZURU, I think, is like the closest that we do have to that kind of infinite scaling that Tressa has. It's like her and Renoa, I think, are like the two that hit for some truly absurd numbers. But the thing is, they just require a lot more setup. And honestly, I think that's healthy for game design. So I think if you wanted to pull the character because you think she's fun and you're worried that she's weak, like, I don't think she's weak. It's just that the two extremes that we have, I feel like, are just eclipsing everything. So if you were just somebody who only cares about the top end, best of the best, she's not that. You can save your resources, right? But I do think she's like as close as we can get to it without actually being that.
Yeah, because what did you say the leaderboards are at in the new mode?
Yeah, so the leaderboards right now, for the first half rewards speed clearing. The faster you clear it, the better. 70 to 75% of the top 100 players are melee because it's just easy, consistent, powerful. Now, the second half, it's supposed to be designed where you play a void DPS and use like a tank or a healer to heal up and get bonus multipliers. But what has actually happened is all 100 players in the top 100 are just Tressa players that just infinite combo. And that's kind of
With
it.
Cassie's, yeah.
So yeah, it's just Cassius, Tressa, just infinite heal, loop, knife, you know, just knife, draw, heal, knife, draw, so on and so forth. And that's a little bit disheartening, right? I don't want to give off this impression that CHIZURU is not worth the pull, because I do think she's very fun. I do think she's strong. It's just that, again, these two characters just kind of make every damage dealer feel a lot worse by comparison. And I do think that's something that Super Creative has to look at.
Yeah, and because I was thinking about it, like, I was thinking about CHIZURU, and I was like thinking about it compared to all the other characters, and I'm like, it's kind of the same problem with Yuki. Well, Yuki's problem was that she was AoE and there was no AoE, but like it's like AoE felt bad in the chaos, and that's where I like running Yuki with CHIZURU, because you get those AoEs and you just clap them easy with Yuki, and then you get into the single target, and then CHIZURU does the heavy lifting. Like, it feels good with those two. But like, if you take out those outliers of the Tressa Cassius combo and then the Mei Lin, everyone else feels like in a pretty decent, like, I look at all the other characters and I'm like, they all feel like they're in a decent spot. Like, Luke can still do a bunch of crazy combos as well. You know, Luke has that crazy turn one potential, but I think it's like, obviously I haven't leveled him up and played him extensively myself, but you know, you got those retrieve cards that let you get the extra bullets. So once that's done, you lose that momentum. So like, you get crazy turn one combos as well. There's been, I've seen some crazy Renoa combos. Haru can do some big slaps as well, especially with ecstasy and stuff like that. So like, everyone has their own, like, even Rin, like, I still love Rin to this day. I think she's got a really wicked play style with the looping of her skills. It's just hard to build that deck, but everyone feels like they have a really nice place. It's just we have those two outliers that sort of make everyone else kind of feel not as great.
Yeah.
And so that's my problem. And so when I look at a character and it's just sort of like, with it excluding the outliers, how does this character feel? And that's where I'm like, CHIZURU feels really good. But if you have Mei Lin and Tressa, it's like, at the moment, it's like, and you're trying to get rank, well, that's, you probably don't need to pull any other character.
Yeah.
If you're a sweaty meta, you want to be at the top of the ladder, it's like, just run those teams and then wait and see if they actually crazy power spike, or wait for a support that can go into those teams even better and amplify them harder. That's like kind of your like meta option. But at the same time, it feels like meta doesn't really matter. I still feel like the enjoyment in the game is the chaos. And that's where I always say, we need like an end game chaos where you use the builds from chaos to take into a giga chaos, because that's where all the fun lies, because all the endgame modes that they try and create feel like they're catered for turn-based games, not for the card game roguelike.
Yeah, exactly. This is I was on a podcast with Zoxus, and he had Scion Storm on, and that was exactly what Scion said. He's like, game's super fun, I love everything about it, but he's like, some of these endgame modes, they're just not it. And like, we need something else that's more like the chaos, more like this, because otherwise we're all gonna burn out by like February or March. Like, we need that content. That's what we are looking for. I think you were saying beforehand, we need essentially like chaos plus. Like, I know that's what Zero System was supposed to be, but like, we need like Zero System plus, where we go in with our established decks. It's really challenging dungeon crawling, like roguelike gameplay, and then, you know, maybe it doesn't save your like any upgrades you get there, but like, it's to kind of test yourself for like maybe something different. There's like, to give you an example, like to borrow from their other game, Epic 7, maybe it's a currency that lets you kind of stat swap stuff. So like that's why you farm it. It's difficult content, so you can min max your characters more, right? That'd be something that'd be fun to do.
Yeah, like even something else I think about is I think because I used to play Summoners War, like I haven't played in like 5 or 6 years, but I played it for like 7 years. And what I loved was when they introduced their real-time arena. I'm not asking for PvP, but when they introduced their real-time arena, it was like you had this really grindy real-time arena mode that as you played it, you got tickets, which then you could buy skins. And so when they release skins, you could purchase them, get them instantly, or you could spend 3 to 6 months grinding this mode to be able to unlock a single skin. And so even rewards like that, I think in a game like this specifically, whereas if you had skins for characters and you sold them, but then it's like, hey, you're grinding this currency in this Giga Chaos, and you can eventually get like, obviously you'd want to get some upgrades, like a way to refine your deck, maybe like change one epiphany, like if you do it. And like, so my thought was like, you know, you save data, it has like a, another section here, which is like O of 3. And it's like, you get to change one thing through this Giga Chaos, and each save data has X amount of, even if it's only redos, one, you get like a redo, like change an epiphany on a card.
E7. Yeah, E7 has that. It's five times per equipment, right? Like you can reset it 5 times, but it's like once you do it, the fit, like that's it, it's locked. So you can't just do it forever, right? And that's usually the currency for that is usually tied to some kind of seasonal thing or like a difficult gameplay mode, like an advent or something, right? That's like very challenging. That would be a cool thing to do. It's a double win, right? It gives us more content to play, and it lets us have something to further refine our favorite characters. Yeah, you know,
I feel like something like that, because at the end of the day, like I've said this multiple times now, people are probably getting sick of me saying it, but it's like, it feels like I grind chaos, I want this build, I grind chaos, I want this build, then I slap it through the Nebula or the bloody the fucking Twilight, and then I go just back to grinding chaos. It's like I work so hard to get this thing, and then I get it, and it means absolutely nothing after I got it, and I just go back to doing the same thing.
Well, that's what I'm waiting for too, is that in the other stream, so not the English stream, they had mentioned that like a Vanguard focus or a tanked focus mode is coming. I think they said January, just Q1, I forget now. And it's just like, my worry there is that it's going to be, yes, they say that it's going to be some type of like sustained battle, but we're all going to have this similar feeling of it where it's like, oh, now it's just geared too much towards a different subset of characters, and you're not really getting as much, you know, it's not the chaos mode that we all know and love, but instead of another mode that we're doing just to do. So to your point, like to Vulcan's point, I'd really like to see like some type of currency or other payoff attached to it, maybe just so we have some other reason for doing it. But I'm a little bit worried that, and we'll get the roadmap later this month, but that new game mode that they've kind of teased at or hinted at already is just still gonna not quite hit the mark. Like, it's cool that they're trying new things and adding stuff, even if it is a bit of a repeat from Epic 7, but I think there's still a point of bringing it over, see how it works in this game, and then modifying it one way or another. So I guess too, I don't know if they have anything like that currently in Epic 7 that's more like tank focused, but they didn't have a lot of information on it otherwise.
Nah, there's a lot of the stuff that was from the Chaos stream that I need to go back and look at, because I know people have been telling me that, and we could touch on it, I guess, on a little bit, is 5-star partners are apparently getting buffed because they recognize that they're not strong enough, because a lot of the 3-stars out damage the 5-star ones.
Yeah, it's just one of those. My hope is it's like the attack percent scale, like multiplying outside of the gear attack percent is what's really, I think, making the big difference.
Yeah, it's like, it's something with the damage formula. So yeah, I've heard that they're going to address that at some point. My worry is like, if they do bring a tank focused game mode over, I got like all the alarm bells going off in my head. I can't remember the name of the mode, but it was an HSR. Vulcan, you probably remember. I was a Himeko main in HSR. Like, that was like my ride or die girl, even though she was considered terrible. And then they just were like, oh, we're going to introduce a mode to make her good. And then they brought over the mode where it's like, oh, you need the AoE pizza cutter to get a high score. She's still terrible outside of this one thing that you get to do like bi-weekly, but that's it. That's like your big fix.
Listen, I'm just brain farting trying to think of the mode. Someone will put it in chat. I always forget the name of the mode. You had Memory Chaos, then you brought that one in, then they brought the other one in, and I just always brain fart on it. But yeah, it was just AoE focused. And like when the game launched, the 2 worst characters were Himeko and Herta, and then they introduced that mode, and the only 2 base characters that still get heavily used, or I don't know now, but at that point it was like Himeko and Herta were then the best because they have this purpose.
Yeah, it's just like we specifically made a mode to make Himeko and Herta the best. Like, it would kill me if they just brought over a mode that I do once every like 2 weeks, and it's like, oh, it's the Magna and Amir mode. Like, I would just be like, ah.
Yep.
Like, it would
I
just.
found it though.
It
Releases January 14th and is targeted for clearing as many stages as possible with no turn limits.
Oh,
so I guess it's more of a survive format. So never mind. But it says for out of favor combatants, and then there was vanguards in parentheses.
That's pretty cool, and they could so one of my favorite game modes is just the clan boss in Raid. One, because it gives you so many like big rewards, but it's like you need to balance survival with damage because his damage scales as you go, and so the more turns you can survive, the more damage you can deal, but also you want to deal more damage. So it's like this nice balance of I get rewarded really well for crafting a team, but it's like you've got an enraged type effect, and being tanky actually really helps you because it gets you a lot more damage throughput.
Yeah. No, that's definitely going to be a pretty a good mode. I'm January 14th, man. I'm actually looking forward to that. That sounds fun. Like, I definitely have liked some of the stuff they've cooked up. It's just that I feel like because of I talk about this all the time. My best friend. The game felt like it needed like maybe like another 2 months in the oven. Like, they clearly have a roadmap, but it feels like they can't get to the roadmap that they want to fast enough because they have to put out so many fires.
Yeah.
So.
The one thing I'll say is like I've said from the start is the core chaos gameplay is so fun, and but it's time consuming. However, your daily routine is so slim, and even if you miss a day of doing dailies, like, you don't really feel penalized. Like, gearing doesn't feel as bad as other games. Like, it just feels like a really cool game that you can, like, obviously we're creators, so we're going to be playing it more, but it feels like you can just pick it up, have some fun casually on the side, and then just put it down and enjoy the chaos without having to stress too much about the other stuff, because the chaos is a genuinely fun game loop. And the other thing I'll say is their designs, their ultimate animations, all that type of stuff, like the visual actual representation of the game is so good. Like, we were talking before about Chizuru's ultimate, and you said you saw a post talking about how her tits get different size in different animations and stuff, and I was like, the ultimate animation, I forget she's even in it because I just like focus so hard on like that wave splitting with the line going perfectly down, the enemy sitting, like, I just think it looks so perfect. But yeah, apparently her size has changed through different animations at the moment.
Like, and there's no it just go look at it when you play the game. Once somebody makes you aware of it, you're like, wait, there's no consistency you can't unsee it. There's no consistency in the size of these things in any of the animations.
You know, we're gonna go into a run. It means I can't go out and show anything else for a little bit because, like, look, this is what I was talking about. I said to you guys, listen, I'm dying because I just had to pause this run because we just got the Tsukiyomi and the dupe and we had the sample.
Oh, nice.
So we're getting ourselves set up. We also got the 2 on this one.
Wow.
Yeah. So
this one is This is a good looking run.
So this is a decent run, but we're going to go into it because I want to see this ult now that we spoke about it.
No, you spoke right. You're like, oh no.
Yeah, this one I don't want this on there. I had 2 bad options in there, so I think I'll just put that on you for now. A friend of mine actually has been telling me he takes Veronica with him every run, and he removes the basics and only leaves her with the uniques, so that way you can't ever dupe any of her cards. And then he also is like, in a case of an emergency like that, where he gets a card he doesn't like, he just plops it on her because it's like, okay, well, she's like my dump character anyway. Yeah. She's really handy for that because she has so many of them. But yeah, I've been running with Ray because I actually got a decent Ray build. Dude, I can't. I'm like, this is how brain dead I am. When I am talking, I cannot read at the same time, and I had no idea what I was doing. But I just want to jump into one battle and see the ultimate again. Oh, geez, I used it at the end of the boss as well. But yeah, I think she's just once again, and this is the team I've been really loving using because you just get the utility. It's just like, and if you have an AP generator, use it before you play this bloody thing because it's so nice. But yeah, I just while I'm going through this, any other thoughts around her playstyle and stuff like that? Because like I said, I've just been thoroughly enjoying just the general playstyle of her.
Yeah.
Actually,
She's beautifully animated. Also, I will say that like her sprite is probably the best sprite in the game. It's super nice.
Even this looks so sick when you got that like I don't know, I don't think I've seen a design quite like I don't know if the story tells you, but like how does this arm thing work? I'm assuming it's the spirit of the thing she captured.
Yeah, it's actually funny. It's actually funny. I was gonna say, so I read the lore even if I don't particularly think it's like great. Basically she has a evil spirit that she's sealed inside of her named Kurokage, so Black Shadow, right? So she has this spirit sealed inside of her in order for it to not destroy her home world. That's kind of why, but like it also, that's why she's restrained. But it like also, like because she can't use her powers because of she's constantly being restrained. She struck a deal with this like pharmaceutical company for some reason to give her these like floating arms, which is what she fights with. So it's like she can still use her powers because of the floating stuff that they gave her. But I'm still hung up on this because we got on this conversation. There's a moment in the story where she constantly produces an item from, quote, her bosom. And I'm sitting here going, how? You have no arms? There's nowhere to hide it. What are we doing?
That's good. Yeah, no, like I was just like, how do these arms work? Like how like so it's her power controlling it or the spirit controlling the arms?
It's like basically the way they explain it is that she basically she kind of like formed a pact with a company. They gave her the arms and like her power moves the arms, but she needs like routine maintenance on the arms. That's why like she's like doing the job that she's doing. That's why like Yuki's trying to like figure out what her deal is and chase her down. It's like, oh yeah, we're investigating this shady company and she works for the shady company because she needs whatever the arms or whatever in order to actually function properly. It's like a mutual thing. She works for them because she needs to.
Yeah.
Because otherwise she can't do anything, and then that would kind of suck, right? Because it's like, well, I'm bound, and if I release the bindings, everyone dies. So
that's crazy. Yeah, I like I said, like I didn't think anything of her when they first showed her in the trailer, and like in like the Yuki trailer. But then they showed her trailer of like capturing the dude, and that's why the arms are bound, and then like the arm, and I was like, oh, this is actually a really cool sort of thematic character.
Yeah.
But wait, which one do you reckon for this build? It's still just the 4-hitter, yeah.
I still think it's probably the 4-hitter.
It makes the most stacks.
Yeah,
or it makes the most will-o-wisps, I should say.
Yeah. I was just like, because I wanted to do the basic spam as well, and I'm like, can I link the two? But what's this?
What do we get?
Oh, rip Ray.
My favorite.
Where's my draw two?
The right one. The right one would be so good in anything other than a CHIZURU deck.
Yeah. But she's on a dead build anyway. But the next thing I want to talk about is we got the new gear sets, and the light one. The Justice one, is it just what's light? Shit, I always forget.
It's Instinct.
Instinct, dude.
Instinct,
I always get the Justice and Instincts mixed up. The blue and the light. But the light set that's based around Ravage. Do you think that what's the next character? What's her name?
Serenial.
Do you reckon she's going to be like a Ravage type support character?
I mean, Cosmic, I'll let you take.
Not. Because I'm worried about, like, it's not a good set, right? Like, that's the part I take with, right? There's just not a tenacity matters enough sort of thing to make that plus 50% worth it. But the one that I'm actually more worried about is because if they set that up for her, and I would be willing to bet my bottom dollar that Narha is the first rate up of the new set, which is the character I'm looking forward to the most. I don't want her to be break focused because that is a character that I really, really want, and I know that's just gonna be a terrible gameplay loop
with those flying manta ray bats.
No, you nailed it. I don't know if it's Narha or Narja. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but she's on the website. She is an Instinct character. I would bet anything that the set's designed for her because they kind of tease that she's the next season character. It makes sense. Like the website has had Serenial, Yuki, CHIZURU, Narha, Euphina, right, forever. So like we all kind of knew that was like the first like 6 months of content pipeline. So like it's kind of like a known thing that these are coming. My thing is, and I know I'll probably offend some people when I say this, is where are the male characters? I like having a decent blend. Like I expect a 2-to-1 ratio usually. Like Epic 7 at this point I think is like 75-25, but at least there's like some guys in the game, right? Like I prefer the waifus as much as anybody, but unless you're explicitly telling me from the get-go, like Nikkei, that it's an all-female roster, I do like some variety, right? It's one of the reasons why like I don't play Lost Sword, and like if that's your jam, I'm not trying to, you know, mess with you, but like when every character in the roster is like the same, like it's a waifu and it looks exactly the same, like same body type, it's a little bit like it's not for me, right? So I like it when my cast is diverse and my character designs are just like plentiful. It's not all same shape, all same type of character, right? Like Hugo, I think is really sick. It's a, you know,
you're a furry. I see how it is. I get it.
No. I'm just saying, I think it's cool that there is a character that exists like that, right? That there is something like that in the game, and it's not just all, you know, big busty, you know, human waifus, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing I liked because like I like those. Like I think Luke is one of the coolest characters in the game. Like I love that hood type. Vibe. I reckon Hugo's wicked, not in a furry way, in a cool way.
Yes.
But yeah, like
I'm with you. I'm gonna get hate for that for sure. Somebody's like, "Oh yes, he's a furry." I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Yeah, no, like I want to see like I'm hoping they end up bringing in like mechs or beasts or something like that. You know what I mean?
Sick. Yeah, I would like an Iron Man sort of character, like or like a Kamen Rider, right? That would be like super dope.
That'd be sick.
To have like having like a Sentai style character.
Yep,
that would be so cool.
I think there's so many rooms for cool options.
The biggest thing for me getting into this game, right, was just how good all the designs were in Epic 7, and that like truly got me excited for this game because I've seen what they cooked up for Epic 7, and then at the launch we got, you know, Hugo and Luke, which again are really great picks, but at least based on the shadows that we have on, like they teased the next 3 rate ups as well, and if you believe the data mines and all that stuff, it looks like we are going to be very dry for the husbandos for 8-bit yet. So I'm waiting as well. There's been some really sick ones that were in the early data mines and stuff, so I will continue to wait, but yeah, I'm really hoping we get some sick designs in the future.
Yeah, especially like E7 just yesterday unveiled a new male character, Aki. He looks so sick, man. He's got like a sealed arm and he kind of unseals it, shoots like gigantic geysers of fire out. Dude looks absolutely dope. I was like, man, this is like the Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's like an adult Zuko, like fully realized. You're like, dude, this guy's so badass.
Nice.
Like, yeah. So I'm like, can I get more designs like that?
To be fair though, like I this is an assumption. I don't know for sure, but I'd assume that maybe the waifus do better. So at launch, that's when you're going to have your massive influx of waifus because that's when you get the bulk of your revenue. So, dude, I'm waiting for her ultimate to come up as an option here, and I don't want to just waste one for it. Oh shit! I completely messed that sequence up.
This is my fault.
Yeah, I just want to say, wait, let's just do this. She'll come up. Ready? Here she is. I want to see this difference in. Jesus, can't get it. Just can't get it, guys.
Yeah. I mean, even when you use like Shadow of the Moon Plus, you're just like, this is not the size that it is in the live 2D in the menu. Hello?
Yeah.
It just goes back to the different art styles because multiple people are working even on the same kid, the same character, what have you. So that's where some of those inconsistencies can come up. We see it all the time in the TCG space, but again, I know that Sue said it, I think right before the recording, but it's like someone made a call out on Reddit to highlight it, and then once you see it, you can literally never unsee it. It's always burdened in the back of your brain, like, oh yeah, I guess that's what they went with there. So I'll be curious if that gets adjusted. I don't know what their precedence is in Epic 7 if they go back and like retouch up artwork or anything, but
Vivian.
Oh, okay, so maybe
it's so funny because when Summon Stage Vivian was shown, she was like ginormous, and then when they finally put her in the game after the trailers, everyone was like, they definitely made every other aspect of the body bigger to make certain things look smaller.
That's cool.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, but like I said, I just think her through the chaos is really comfortable. Honestly, I think Yuki's dude. I always forget this. I think Yuki in general is just really solid. I forgot that was a lead card, but I just think
Magna, you won't have that issue.
I think the problem. I think the problem with Yuki was the way she released and like her type of damage and stuff like that. But But yeah, in general, I think they've done a pretty good job with designs. And like we said, with besides those two outliers, it does feel really solid.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And my honest, like, earnest hope, I know I'll get flack for saying this. I don't know how Cosmic feels, but
Canceling.
I prefer more of the like errata / bans for problematic things rather than just being like, you know what, let's just like power creep the game. I would rather that they lower the power level of Maylin and Tressa and then raise everybody up to meet it, because whether you realize it or not, if you raise the power level of everybody to meet it, it actually causes a lot of issues with the like on the design side. You don't see it, right? Like there's going to be some kind of baggage or damage no matter what. Would you rather rip the band-aid off now and feel bad that the character you invested in might have to get toned down? Or would you rather like be blissfully unaware of the fact that they have to make up some new disaster in the background in order to keep the lights on? And it's like, I'll just rip the band-aid off now, because you can never make everybody happy. So just get it over with for the health of the game, and
I mean,
continue to make sick stuff.
I think the problem is that any balancing, like in card games, like balancing is just like part of it. It's like I remember when back in the day when I was playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, I spent $3,000 getting a Necros deck, and then like they do the ban list, and then it's down to like a $100 deck, and it's like you just like, it's just part of the game. Whereas gotcha, it's always been part that you can never nerf something after it's been released and stuff like that. So it's sort of like a really uphill battle that they're fighting to try and get through it.
Yeah. So but that's exactly what you're saying. You spent $3,000 on a deck, but like if we made it so that like we kept trying to nerf things to regulate the power level, that deck will come and go. It'll be a recurring thing over and over and over again if the devs do it properly. The problem is that when you keep power creeping, there's no chance it ever comes back because it's on a lower power tier. There's just no way they're gonna. If they scale it up, it'll be because they put one monstrously busted card or like two monstrously broken cards, and it's just those two broken cards that require you to play the bad cards in order to make it work. And then it just feels like inorganic, right? Like it's not like truly making your favorite deck work. It's just you have to play bad cards to make these two obviously busted things work. It's not good. I don't think it's good design.
To be fair, let's not look at Yu-Gi-Oh ban list as a way to do a game, because holy shit, that's pretty ass too. But yeah.
But my favorite comparison right now is just like looking at the Ecstasy of Violence effect, because it is just a card that is now in the game. It's available to every single damage dealer. I mean, you could put it on anybody, right? Being realistic. And it is now a card that quite literally anyone can build around. You can get your confiscations, and you can buff it up reasonably to make everyone reach a certain threshold. And so when we have things like Mei Lin that are so far ahead that we look at like CHIZURU's kit, I guess is probably the better example of this, that you have the one build that combos out, does crazy things, but how do you bring everything back in line where it's not always going to have those outliers? So Ecstasy of Violence is this card that's interesting that they try to like put a band-aid on and like help bring up maybe some of the damage-based characters that were a little lacking, because now everyone can just use one card. But then it's also not exciting if Ecstasy of Violence is like the key thing that every single person is using. So there's like two different issues of it, of one, fixing the power ceiling that we have with characters like Mei Lin, but then also realizing that if we have the other fix being just, hey, everyone take this neutral card and like this is how you're going to be strong for this season, then you don't get any type of build variety or character showcasing kind of like where their strengths are, because you're now all using one forbidden card in this example in the form of Ecstasy of Violence. So again, I'm on the side of rip the band-aid off, but I don't know the best way to approach that, because no matter what you do, right, you're gonna piss people off, and you can't like just delete Mei Lin. In card games that's what you would do, but we have the devs try to hold it back by giving this boss the resistance to the multi-hits, and spoiler, she's still topping anyway. So like, do you double the buff and like really try to discourage people? Like, it's just not a good situation to be in. I think it does us as players a bigger disservice if we leave this problem as is.
But once again, I always come back to the fact that at least this game it doesn't feel so competitive, and a lot of the enjoyment you get through the game is the chaos. So at least, it's still enjoyable, but like it is that annoying thing. But the big thing is, I came into this chaos run so long ago, we finally got the ability to use her ultimate, which no one else could see along the way. Yes, we're going to use it at 0 sacks, just so we can see the size of her tits in the animation because it is really annoying Sue. So let's take a look.
Quality podcast. Look at her side profile.
Jeez, that side profile's giga, isn't it? Yeah.
It's so bad. Like, you can't unsee it. You're just like, yeah.
That's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
I just realized this, like this build. It's still at 0 cost. I got to start getting some neutrals in there. Some.
That's the one thing I will say about her. She's really comfy to play because you feel powerful even with like a low point build.
Yeah,
yep.
and
it feels really nice.
And like I got one build where I took the basics off. I hit my 150, but it's always like, and obviously like Mei Lin, it's like the most Giga advantage is Mei Lin's Giga advantage because her basics are her main damage. So all those potentials, all that everything is amplifying her main damage. But any character where you can feel okay leaving their basics in, and then you get a mutant sample for the one you don't, like it feels so good to be able to build decks and have so much free room. Now, unfortunately, I got no divines on her. We still haven't unlocked the other base card either yet, but at the end of the day, that card doesn't matter if we don't get it. It's not the end of the world. But like, it feels so good having so much room to play. If you do get those divines, you can then put in, like, I could put in 2 gear bags and a bloody rally or something into this build and still be perfectly safe with it. So that's
what I'm saying. Like, she has so much like freedom to do a lot of stuff, and that's always a really good thing for your character to have.
Jeez, I just realized I'm getting bloody low on health. I've been doing too much trolling here. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop getting distracted by that. I'm going to fail in my own time. But any other final thoughts around CHIZURU, current state of the game, anything like that?
I guess the final thing I'll say here is just like, I've been happy that if nothing else, right, if the power level we decide is still just not strong enough to Mei Lin, and that's what everyone wants to focus on, sure, let it be let it be said. But for me, the biggest thing with her is that she just has such great variety in her kit that gives you so many options of building these different teams with her that all play different. You want to bring in so many different characters that can synergize with her. For me, that's where a lot of my satisfaction comes from with CHIZURU. So I'm really happy I've gotten her. She is still my favorite, or she is now my favorite rate up, I guess I would say, out of the 3 for whatever that's worth. But I really hope that we do see more characters like this, where it's like, hey, you have a couple different play styles, you want completely different characters on them. And yes, it all plays around the like hit stuff theme, sure, but you know, you can actually have Hugo in one build, you know, Rey is going to be good in some builds and maybe you take her out in others. So I'm just really happy with her kit overall, and I think that I'd love to see more designs in the future that revolve around kind of that design philosophy of multiple build patterns that reward you for having a deeper and wider roster.
Yeah, definitely. And like the should you pull thing, it comes down to she's fun, she's got multiple playstyles, that's good value. But if you're looking at pure sweaty meta, be the top of the ranks, then she's a skip, and you just keep running Mei Lin and Tressa and wait until there's a power creep for that aspect. Like those are literally, I feel like those are your two options.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Yep. I mean, exactly. If you're a sweat, just stick with your Mei Lin Tressa. But if you like the character's design, these are games that are played for fun first and foremost. Pick up the character. I don't think you will be upset about it. She's super fun. Lots of great team comps. Like it's like Kaz said, right? I play the game for the chaos, for the team building aspect, to explore and come up with like cool, interesting synergies. And I think she's got that in spades. I want more characters like her, less like the one-trick ponies that are just so massively good at one thing that they trivialize a lot of the content.
Yeah, definitely. And I've said this before on stream, I'm like, this could be like the one gotcha game that I actually eventually spend on, because I'm not like in other gotcha games. It's like, I hate it when you're spending on a character because you feel like you need them. Like that just feels stupid, and I will never spend in a game for that. But this feels like more like a card game where I just want to play the different stuff. Doesn't matter what strength it's at. It's like, it's fun to play it. And I think that's a good model. Once again, there's a couple kinks still need ironing out, but I think the whole core design's good. And once again, if you want to be Giga Sweat meta, you don't need her. But she is fun. That's like kind of the TLDR. But yeah, we might leave it there because I know Cosmic's got a stream he's had scheduled, which we've already had to push it back. So I think you're going to stream as well. This will go up after your streams anyway. So rip. I will leave the correct links for these boys in the description. Sorry about that for the last time, Cosmic.
No worries.
I will leave the correct links. Go show these guys some support. Let me know anyone else you guys want to see on the podcast, and we can do that. Any final words, boys?
Play more Magna. She's fun.
I'll activate my 2 dupes and do it. Cosmic, you good?
Yeah, play more Ray. I guess that's my plug for the day because her damage boosting is really, really good.
Yep, sick. All right, that's going to be it for this one, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day. I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.